playoff teams. Like they're definitely right. They're definitely right there where like a Florida is.
Well, no, this is the first appearance ever. They've made the playoff.
No, Auburn's never made the playoff.
Yes, they did.
No, 2013. That was the last BCS.
The Marshall year wasn't the playoff.
No, that was BCS. Florida State.
That's right.
Yeah, that was the last one.
I guess Auburn hasn't.
No, so they're definitely a candidate, just like Florida is. And
I forgot. I forgot about Auburn not being. Okay, well there you go. Auburn is another one on this list, but I don't think they're a candidate in 2023. I don't think Peyton Thorne.
I wouldn't think so.
Penn State here in our final two here, Matt Green. Penn State, you have a lot to say about the Nittany Lions. Go ahead here. I'll let you lead this because I feel like I might lead the Tennessee one.
I think Penn State, like James Franklin, he's definitely one of those like, I don't know, kind of polarizing coaches. I feel like at this point, because there's a lot of, what does he want? And then a lot of people are like, for what he's doing at Penn State, he's one of the best coaches out there. But that does only take you so far because Penn State this isn't Vanderbilt. Like winning 9 games at Vanderbilt, like build the man a statue. Like that's absurd. I think he did it twice. But at Penn State, they do have the resources. They might not be what you want to call a blue blood or whatever. And, the athletes aren't coming out of the Midwest and the Northeast like, they once were in Big Ten country. But Penn State is still a powerhouse program, and they had the good 2016 where, they had a case for being in the playoff, but that's the only time they've really even sniffed it. Like last year felt like such a Mark Richt Georgia season for Penn State. It was just like 10-2, lost to the 2 best teams you played. You look around, and you're like, look, we're like number 7 or number 8. We're a really good team, just having to convince everybody that you're a really good team. But it's like, you got to show me. Like, whenever it's the big game, like, you don't really, we believe in the big game atmosphere with Penn State, but, it's more times than not, they haven't gotten it done. So I think with Michigan, being what they are, like, they were a great team last year, but I don't feel like they were necessarily as dominant as some of, as like the feeling that they have right now. You know what I mean? Like, they feel like they blew out Ohio State last year. And final score, they did, but like that game was a back and forth game halfway through the fourth quarter, right? Like the score went lopsided. But I don't think Michigan is just some insurmountable force in the Big Ten East. Obviously, just playing in the Big Ten East in general, maybe Wisconsin or someone's got a better chance of getting in the playoff than someone like Penn State. But I do think the level of players Penn State's been getting in recent years, like they're upping their recruiting, like they got great running backs. And I think Drew Allard, like he showed some signs last year. He showed like he looks like he's got a higher ceiling than, who am I blanking on? Sean Clifford. So I don't know. I think that's ultimately what it comes down to, if Allard can kind of take them to the next level. And I might be pronouncing his name wrong. I don't know if it's Allard.
It's going to be one of those we have to just listen to the broadcast, because I swear, even when I listen to other college football podcasts, it's like I've heard Allar, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Allar until otherwise. But look, Drew Allar, I think the ceiling's higher. You knew what you were getting in Clifford, and there is some comfort in that because the dude did win a bunch of games in Happy Valley for the Nittany Lions. The dude was a gamer and played
Funny
hard.
enough, maybe he was their Aaron Murray, and it was Mark Richt's season. It was like, he was a real gritty guy. I'm sure the fan base, he's a damn good dog, whatever they call Penn State. He's a damn good lion. He's a tough guy, but it's like he seemed like he had a real ceiling on what his ability was.
Yeah, and look, that's okay. But I mean, Allar, that's a difference maker. Like, does he get them where, look, they were 82nd, Matt Green, in third down conversions in the country last year. That's got to get cleaned up. You can't be near the bottom in FBS in third down conversion rate. Like, that's not a recipe for making it into the college football playoff and into that drought. But the defense is really good, and I think that's another underrated part of what James Franklin's built there. Is the offense is solid, putting dudes in the NFL, but like they were third in yards per attempt last year in the Big Ten. Like you said, you get Michigan at home, that's their season right there. At Ohio State, like not as big if you can beat Michigan at home, and then you get a neutral site against Michigan State now. So I think there is a realistic path, and I agree with you. If not this year, when is it for the Nittany Lions? And I think it's fair to say, hey, if you're a Penn State fan, you should expect like we're in the college ball playoff conversation, especially based on how last year went. Like, all right, that was it. What they finished 10-2 in the regular season, unless I'm misremembering it.
Yeah, 10-2.
You should be better this year. You should be 11-1. You should break through.
What do you think about this comparison? I feel like James Franklin is more like Kirby Smart, whereas Steve Sarkisian is like Ryan Day. So like Ryan Day and Kirby Smart both under a bunch of pressure prior to like winning. Ryan Day still hasn't won a national championship, but with Ryan Day, it's like we're not sure we're better today than we were the day you took over, you know? And just with you look at Texas and Sarkisian, it feels a little better, but you're not actually sure that it's even better than it was when he got there. Like they're getting some big time recruits now, like sure, but the win-loss total hasn't even improved. Whereas with James Franklin, it's more like a Kirby Smart. Like from the exterior, it was Georgia's got to win a national championship, or if they don't do it now, when are they ever going to do it? But within Georgia circles, everyone's like, okay, things are as great as they've ever been. Eventually, this guy's got to get us a championship. That's kind of how it feels to me from Penn State. Is it's like there's pressure from the outside, but Penn State people know, like, oh man, those years before James Franklin, it was so much worse. Like we're at least like our disappointing years were finishing ranked, you know. Like so, I think there's some external pressure on James Franklin, but I don't know if it's like his seat gets any hotter if they don't make the Big Ten championship this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I would agree. But I am curious, like, Franklin, like, does he get more interest from somewhere else this offseason? He's always rumored for, like, a lot of bigger time jobs, but he's going to be in Happy Valley. And I know he's from Pennsylvania, so maybe he's good there for the long term. And I'm not sure Penn State can do better than James Franklin, which is another point there. So,
yeah, we'll see.
The last one here. Tennessee, have you heard of them?
Who?
Have you heard of the Vols?
No, is this a women's basketball? What are we talking about?
Hey, a lot of success there too. Tennessee, though, has not made the college football playoff yet. They go into this year. New quarterback. They were obviously number one in the country for a little bit last year. They had the spot kind of sealed up if they take care of business against South Carolina on the road, and obviously that did not go the way any Tennessee fan had hoped. I'm curious to see if those orange helmets ever make their way back into the Tennessee locker room. My gut tells me we won't see those bad boys around for a long time, but